Let's get myself in the right area, and then we shall proceed.
Okay.
Okay, so that is one. Okay, so I'm going to read the passage, and you're going to read the answers, and then you're going to select which answer you
Okay.
feel is the best. And if it's right, we'll let you know if it's right, and if it's wrong, we will address that as well. Okay. In a pole vaulting competition, the judge decides on the minimum height to be jumped. The vaulter may attempt to jump any height above the minimum. Using flexible fiberglass poles, vaulters have jumped as high as 18 feet and 8 1/4 inches. This passage means most nearly that what? And read out A, B, C, and D. Please.
All right. Did you send me a?
Oh, my brains will be dangerous, man.
That's all right. Hey, I would be pretty good if I could read them off to you like this.
I know, right?
Okay. I could take this test easy.
Boom, there you go.
All right, here we go. C. Pole vaulters must jump higher than the height set by the judge.
Okay, you got that right. Okay, next image is coming to you. Alrighty. All right. Only about 1/10 of an iceberg is visible above water. 8 to 9 times as much ice is hidden below the waterline. In the Arctic Ocean near the South Pole, there are icebergs that rise as high as 300 feet above water. The passage best supports the statement that icebergs in the Antarctic Ocean, and you'll read the answers.
A are usually 300 feet high. B can be as much as 3,000 feet high. C are difficult to spot. D are hazardous to navigation. B can be as much as 3,000. No, hold on. Yeah, 3,000 feet high.
Okay, that is the correct answer. Man, you're talking about you're not good at this, man. I can't tell. Okay. All right. Next question we have. Okay. You can tell a frog from a toad by its skin. In general, a frog's skin is moist, smooth, and shiny, but a toad's skin is dry, dull, and rough, or covered with warts. Frogs are also better at jumping than toads are. The passage best supports the statement that you can recognize a toad by its what? Read the answers and let me know which one you want.
A, great jumping ability. B, smooth, shiny skin. C, lack of warts. D, dry, rough skin. D.
And that is the correct answer. Very good. Okay, Thomas Edison was responsible for more than 1,000 inventions in his 84-year lifespan. Among the most famous of his inventions are the phonograph, the electric bulb, or I should have said electric light bulb, motion picture film, the electric generator, and the battery. This passage means most nearly that Thomas Edison, you read the answers?
A was the most famous inventor. B was responsible for invention. C invented many things in his short life. D invented the phonograph and motion picture film.
And what would you choose?
B and C are incorrect.
I like that process of elimination. Very good. Because you'll have to use that.
Right. You taught me how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with either A or D, but A doesn't say he was the most famous.
And you cannot make that. You cannot make that assumption. If the paragraph does not say it, you can't just be like, "Wow, 1,000 inventions. He had to be the most." No, you can't say that because nowhere in the paragraph did it say that Thomas Edison was the most famous inventor. So, using again the process of elimination, there we go again.
By process of elimination, D is the correct answer. However, I don't agree with D because it says this passage means most nearly.
Oh no, I know, but
a lot of things.
I know, but still, D is what's actually stated in the paragraph, and so that's what I would go with.
Okay.
All right, because in the last sentence, I see phonograph, which he was the inventor of, and I see motion picture film, and that's what I would run with.
There's some that are really long, and it will ask you to summarize the paragraph. Which the statement best summarizes the paragraph, and you have to be very critical.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't make any assumptions unless it's actually stated in the text somewhere.
Right.
Okay. Amateur sportsmen and sportswomen are those who take part in sports purely for enjoyment, not for financial reward. Professional sportsmen and sportswomen are people who are paid to participate in sports. Most athletes who compete in the Olympic Games are amateurs. The passage best supports the statement that an amateur sports person might be
A, an Olympic champion.
Okay.
B, a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. C, the holder of the heavyweight boxing crown. D, a participant in the World Series. A, an Olympic champion.
Okay. Because the member of the Pittsburgh Steelers is paid, the heavyweight boxing crown, he's paid, and the person participating in the World Series would also be a paid member. So Olympic champion was the correct answer. Very good. Ooh.
All right.
Okay, let me know when you see it.
All right.
A year, the time it takes Earth to go exactly once around the sun, is not 365 days. It is actually 365 days, 6 hours, 9 minutes, 9.5 seconds, or 365 and 1/4 days. Leap years make up for this discrepancy by adding an extra day to the calendar once every 4 years. This passage means most nearly that the purpose of leap years is to
A, adjust for the fact that it takes 365 and 1/4 days for Earth to circle the sun. B, to make up for lost time in the work year. C, to occur every 4 hours to allow for differences in the length of year in each time zone. A, adjust for the fact that it takes 365 and 1/4 days for Earth to circle the sun.
Very good. Very good. Next image is coming to you. Okay, scientists are taking a closer look at the recent boom in the use of wood for heating. Wood burning, it seems, releases high-level pollutants. It is believed that burning wood produces 1,000 times more CO, or carbon monoxide than natural gas does when it burns. The passage best supports the statement that CO, or carbon monoxide, is
A, a natural gas. B, wood. C, carbon monoxide. D, heat. C, carbon monoxide.
carbon monoxide. And you can see that clearly in the last sentence, can't you?
Right.
So we're not making any assumptions. The text has stated what CO was, which was carbon monoxide.
Got it.
The average American family makes a move every 10 years. This means that family history becomes scattered. In some cases, a person searching for his or her family's past must hire a professional researcher to track down ancestors. This passage means most nearly that every few years, take it away.
A, somebody tries to trace his or her family's history. B, the average American family moves. C, family history becomes scattered. D, professional researchers are hired to track down ancestors.
What say you?
This is a little bit difficult. Crossed out D. That's not going to work. A is not going to work because that's just as wrong as D for the same exact reason. I'm split between B and C because this passage is telling us that every time someone moves, family history becomes scattered. So every few years, both things happen. If you have, I don't know, this was a little more difficult.
Yeah, they are going to get more difficult.
This passage means that most nearly every few years, C, family history becomes scattered.
That's incorrect. The answer is B.
Okay.
All right.
I wish.
Although,
why is it? How can I?
Although all four answer choices are somewhat supported by the passage, the one that best supports its statement that the average family moves every few years is pretty much what they run with.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I see it. I see it now.
Mm-hmm.
Passage says every family moves every 10 years. That doesn't mean the family history is scattered every 10 years. It may be scattered over 60 years.
There you go, buddy.
When gas is leaking, I'm sorry, you're reading.
When gas is leaking, any spark or sudden flame can ignite it. This can create a flashback, which burns off the gas in a quick puff of smoke and flame. But the real danger is a large leak, which can cause an explosion. The passage best supports the statement that the real danger from leaking gas is A or N.
A, a flashback. B, puff of smoke and flame. C, an explosion. Or D, spark. C, an explosion.
Very good. The paragraph supports that.
All right.
Okay. With the exception of Earth, all of the planets in our solar can't even pronounce my words today, solar system are named for gods and goddesses in Greek or Roman mythology. This is because other planets were thought to be in heaven like the gods, and our planet lay beneath like Earth. The passage best supports the statement that all planets except Earth
A, were part of Greek and Roman mythology. B, were thought to be in heaven. C, are part of the same solar system. D, worship as gods. B, were thought to be in heaven.
Very good. Okay. The Supreme Court was established by Article 3 of the Constitution. Since 1896, it has been made up of 9 members, the Chief Justice and 8 Associate Justices, who are appointed for life. Supreme Court justices are named by the President and must be confirmed by the Senate. This passage means most nearly that the Supreme Court
A, was established in 1869. Consists of 9 judges. B. C, consists of judges appointed by the Senate. D, changes with each presidential election.
10 seconds.
C, consists of judges appointed by the Senate.
No. Look at if the president names you, he's probably the guy, or she, if it was a female president, is the one that's appointing you.
Right.
And so the last sentence says Supreme Court justices are named by the president and must be confirmed by the Senate. So they're only confirmed by the Senate, not appointed.
Okay. So D, changes with each presidential election then.
Do you see that in the sense, in the wording?
I see it through Supreme Court justices are named by the president. That means the president appoints them.
Yeah, but we don't come up with a new Supreme Court justice every election. We don't.
No. I guess it's B. It consists of 9 judges.
Yeah, but it clearly says the Supreme Court was established by Article 3 of the Constitution. And then it says since 1869, so that would tell me that the Supreme Court was established in 1869. Hey.
See, I was trying to not infer that because before 1869, it could be made up of 3 members. We don't know. I didn't know. I was trying not to infer that it was established in 1869. That's why I didn't pick A.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was kind of hard for.
Yeah, it was a tough one, and like I said, they're going to get tougher. So your decision making is going to have to you're going to have to heavily rely on, because the way I see it, it was established by Article 3 of the Constitution. Since 1869, it's clearly since 1869. So I'm thinking it was established.
Right.
Consists of 9 judges. All right. It has been made up of 9 members since 1869.
Right. And I immediately said that was wrong.
Yeah. And then consists of judges appointed by the Senate. No, they're confirmed by the Senate, not appointed. They're appointed by the president. And then changes with each presidential election. It never says that. And so you cannot, and you have to be careful because on the test, the reading is going to be very dry. It's going to be some of the driest crap. You're going to be like, oh my God, I'm falling asleep.
That's how it was. It was horrible.
You're still going to have to look at numbers, focus on numbers.
Okay.
That is a good thing. Focusing on numbers. If you see numbers, there's probably going to be some questioning along those lines. Okay, let's jump into the next one. Okay, the sport of automobile racing originated in France in 1894. There are 5 basic types of competition. 1, the Grand Prix, the series of races that leads to a world championship. 2, stock car racing, which uses specially equipped standard cars. 3, midget car racing. 4, sports car racing. And 5, drag racing. The best known U.S. race is the Indianapolis 500, first held in 1911. The passage best supports the statement that the sport of auto racing. Take it away.
A started with the Indianapolis 500 in 1911. The paragraph doesn't say that. B uses only standard cars, which are specially equipped. No, that doesn't say that. Not for the whole thing. C holds its championship race in France. No, it doesn't say that. D includes 5 different types of competition. I believe D.
And you would be correct. Give me a moment here. I had a message come in. I just needed to look at really, really quick.
All right.
All right. We're back on track here. And good job with that last question.
Thanks.
Okay. The brain controls both voluntary behavior, such as walking and talking, and most involuntary behavior, such as the beating of the heart and breathing. In higher animals, the brain is also the site of emotions, memory, self-awareness, and thought. The passage best supports the statement that in higher animals, the brain controls and your answer options are
A, emotion, memory, and thought. B, voluntary behavior. C, most involuntary behavior. D, all of the above. D, all of the above.
all right. I probably would have went with in higher animals, because that's what the question, the brain controls. The brain is also the site of emotions, memory, self-awareness, and thought. I would have went with A, and I would have been wrong. D is the correct answer. So yeah, I'm actually, you know what? Yeah, I see why you were right. Where you were right. I kind of I keyed in on what the sentence was saying.
Right.
But it's saying in higher animals, the brain is also
that's a key word, man.
In addition to. So, you really got to watch the wording.
Yeah.
What did it say? The devil's in the details.
Yeah.
So I got sucker punched on that one. I got sucker punched. Oh,
yeah, I don't feel so bad now.
I know, right? It got Keno. All right. Hey, listen, I'm wrong twice a year. All right. Just want to say. Twice a year, I'm wrong. Okay. The speed of a boat is measured in knots. 1 knot is equal to a speed of 1 nautical mile per hour. A nautical mile is equal to 6,080 feet, while an ordinary mile is 5,280 feet. And just so for your own edification and the mechanical side of things, a nautical mile is a boat or airplane mile. And a ordinary mile that they talk about in this is a statute mile.
Oh, okay.
Also, they round it up because a nautical mile is actually 6,076 feet. So they're 4 feet off in this text, but they rounded up. I see what they did. They rounded up. But being someone that practices physics and stuff like that, I'm just kind of
right.
I kind of call it, you're 4 feet off,
And it's also, you said it's a statute mile.
The 5,280 feet is a statute mile.
Wonder why they call it that?
I don't know. I never really looked at it. Statute, law, legal mile, I guess, that you would drive.
Right.
Statute pertaining to law. I'm assuming. You could Wikipedia that if you want to, and get back to me and let me know what that means.
Right.
Because I'm always curious about stuff like that. So the passage means most nearly that.
A nautical mile is longer than an ordinary mile. A speed of 2 knots is the same as 2 miles per hour. A knot is the same as a mile. The distance a boat travels is measured in knots. A nautical mile is longer than an ordinary mile.
Very good. That is the correct answer, sir.
Good.
Right. That's what I would have picked too. No, I would have. I'm just being me. Okay. It is recommended that the net be held not more than 14 persons, nor fewer than 10 persons. Although under certain conditions, it may become necessary to use fewer persons. According to this passage, it is, take it away.
Best to use between 10 and 14 persons on the net. B is better to use 10 on rather than 14. C is impossible to use a net unless at least 10. D, sometimes advisable to use more than 14. A, best to use between 10 and 14 persons on the net.
Right answer.
15. Good. Good deal.
Okay. The overuse of antibiotics today represent a growing danger. According to many medical authorities, patients everywhere stimulated by reports of new wonder drugs continue to ask their doctors for a shot to relieve a cold, flu, or any other viral infections that occur during the course of a bad winter. But for the common cold and many other viral infections, antibiotics have no effect. The passage best supports the statement that
the use of antibiotics is becoming a health hazard. Antibiotics are of no value for many viral infections. Patients should ask their doctors for a shot of wonder drugs to relieve. No. The treatment of colds and the other viral infections by antibiotics will lessen their severity. A, B, and C, by process of elimination, are no good. So I would pick D, but if I had more time to think about it, I'd like to really pick D, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet.
Okay, you threw B out.
Yeah, A, B, and C, yeah.
And B is actually the answer.
Oh, no. Antibiotics have no value in treating many viral infections. And many of them antibiotics have no effect. Yeah, that's true.
It says it right at the end.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
D, I believe I didn't like it because you have to infer that information. And I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's like treatment of colds and other viral infections by antibiotics will lessen their severity. I just didn't see that. I didn't see it in the paragraph.
Yeah, it's not there.
Mm-hmm. It's all right. You're still ahead, man. You've gotten a lot of these right. So, okay. In examining the scene of a homicide, one should not only look for the usual standard traces, fingerprints, footprints, etc., but also take notice of details that, at a first glance, may not seem to have any connection to the crime. One may conclude from the above statement that the scene of a homicide, and your falls in your court.
A, one cannot tell in advance what will be important. B, only the usual standard traces are important. C, sometimes one should not look for footprints. D, standard traces are not generally available. D, no good. C, no good. B, no good. I have to go with A.
And you will be right. One cannot tell in advance what will be important. All right, because they're telling you look for the usual and look for the not so usual stuff. So you can't really just be like, oh, there's the gun. Okay, that's a murder weapon.
Right.
You might want to look for motive. What led to this? You know, it could be, I don't know, foreclosure notice on the house or something like that.
Yeah. Right.
I'm sorry, that was evil. That was kind of evil.
No, that's right. No, you see that bill on the table.
Okay, we see what happened. All right. Alertness and attentiveness are essential qualities for success as a telephone operator. The work the operator performs often requires careful attention under conditions of stress. The passage best supports the statement that the telephone operator
always works under stress. B, cannot be successful unless he or she memorizes many telephone numbers. C, must be trained before he or she can render good service. D, must be able to work under difficult conditions. Alertness and attentiveness are essential qualities. Work operator performs optimally. Work the operator performs. A, no good. B, no good. D. Answer is D.
And I like the way you're using that process of elimination. You're doing an amazing job.
Good.
The leader of an industrial enterprise has two principal functions. He or she must manufacture and distribute a product at a profit, and he or she must keep individuals and groups of individuals working effectively. The passage best supports the statement that an industrial leader should, you have the floor,
increase the distribution of his or her plant's products, introduce large-scale production methods, coordinate the activities of employees, and D, profit by the experience of other leaders. Business has two principal functions. He or she must manufacture and distribute a product at profit, and he or she must do individuals and groups and work effectively. I'm gonna have to go with B. No, I don't like that. I don't like any of them, and I'm having trouble.
Okay, you gotta. If you're in a test by yourself, what are you gonna do?
Okay, I'm going to guess. I'm going to have to guess on this if it's a test. So I'm going to have to guess C.
And guess what, my brother? You would be right. Coordinate the activities of employees, because what I saw and what drew me to that was he or she must keep individuals and groups of individuals working effectively. So if you're working if you got to make sure they're working effectively. You got to coordinate that. They're not just gonna do it on their own. Probably they're gonna take more smoke breaks and all kinds of stuff. So you got to say, okay, well, all right, you got a 15-minute break or 20-minute break, however your organization runs or whatever, and you got to coordinate them and make sure that the ducks are all in a row.
Right.
All right. Good job with the tough one, man.
Man, it was tough.
Okay, genuine coins had an even and distinct corrugated outer edge. The corrugated outer edges of counterfeit coins are usually uneven, crooked, or missing. According to this statement, you have the floor.
Counterfeit coins can rarely be distinguished from genuine coins. Counterfeit coins never lose their corrugated outer edge. Genuine coins never lose their uneven corrugated outer edge. The quality of the outer edge of a coin may show that it's counterfeit. Genuine coins have an even missing. I have to go with D.
And you would be right, sir. D is the correct answer.
C almost got me. It says genuine coins never lose their uneven. And if it said even, I was going to pick it. But if obviously they have to be all even, not uneven.
But what did you do when you were lost? You went back to the paragraph.
That's right, and crossed off things that didn't make sense.
There you go.
I understood that word quality. And quality does not mean that the age of the coin. Quality is the quality of the craftsmanship.
Okay. In most United States, in most U.S. states, no crime is considered to have occurred unless there is a written law forbidding the act. And even though an act may not be exactly in harmony with public policy, such act is not a crime unless it is expressly forbidden by legislative enactment. Which of the following statements is most nearly in keeping with the above passage?
A crime is committed only with reference to a particular law. B, all acts not in harmony with public policy should be expressly forbidden by law. C, legislative enactments frequently forbid actions that are exactly in harmony with public policy. Nothing contrary to public policy can be done without legislative authority. B and C are no good, and I'm gonna guess D on this one, and I really don't feel good about this question, but I'm gonna guess D.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one more try. That is wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna guess A then.
And A is the correct answer.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with that. A crime is committed only with a reference to a particular law. Yes, in most cases, no crime is considered to have occurred unless there is a written law.
So my takeaway from this, what they're saying is that no crime is considered to have occurred unless there is a written law.
Right.
So a crime is committed only with reference to a particular law, which means something was written.
Right.
You know, either you go with, thou shalt not kill, or it is a felony to blah blah blah. I'm not going to mess with the YouTube algorithms.
Right.
I'll say something. You're flagged for a month. Like, what did I do? You said no, we're not doing that, but you can understand what I'm saying when I say it like that. So,
Yeah.
okay, so that's what drew me to A.
I don't know. I don't disagree with D yet. Maybe I'm not reading it correctly.
Okay, let's go back and take a look. So D, nothing contrary to public policy can be done without legislative authority. Nothing against public policy. Now, public policy is kind of like popular opinion, because it says
Right.
even though an act may not be exactly in harmony with public policy, such an act is not a crime unless it's forbidden expressly and by some legislative enactment, which means some laws got to be written down.
Right.
So nothing contrary to public policy can be done without. Nothing against, the public policy can be done without. That's not in line with.
That's I see it. Yeah, I can do anything that's I want is and if it's legal, it's legal.
Mm-hmm.
So D doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you have some people to say, okay, well, I don't agree with abortion. Yeah, some people are like, dude, they believe in it.
Right.
You could have somebody that says it's okay to have 10 wives.
Right.
Where, the majority of America's like, no, you only get one. Because it's the U.S. But in other parts of the world, you have people that might have 5, 6 wives. Because it's not always about the sex. It's about protecting women and children and making sure that they have someone, a leader.
Right.
So nobody can just come and just mess with them and stuff because they're kind of spoken for or covered by some protection.
Makes a lot of sense.
In some cultures. So a lot of times, in America, we're like we're an over-sexualized nation. Where with other countries and communities, that's not really like sex is not. Could it happen? Yeah, it could happen. But does it happen? Probably does from time to time.
Right.
I don't think.
Never think of it that way, man. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Because I know guys, some people that believe in what do they say, polyamorous relationships. Yeah, they believe in those relationships, and it's almost kind of like, part of their religion and stuff like that. Not that I'm like on board with it, because I don't think I can have 5 women.
No,
I'm just like
5 different birthdays and 5 different anniversaries.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
You got men that can't remember birthdays and anniversaries of one woman. Now you're gonna do 5.
And 5 different mother-in-laws, and then you're done.
Yeah, but I know that a lot of people, it's more for protection. It's kids may have lost a father, the wife has lost a husband, has no support, and stuff like that.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, so I think I sent you the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, only one measure, but a quite obvious measure of the merits of the personnel policies of an organization and of the adequacy and fairness of the wages and other conditions of employment prevailing in it is the rate at which replacements must be made in order to maintain a workforce. Wow, that was a mouthful.
Yeah. This is, I really struggle on the.
Now, this is more ASTB-ish.
I know it.
Or OAR-ish.
It is.
So you got to slow down. Only one measure, but quite an obvious measure. Some to be measured. Of the merits of the personnel policies of an organization, personnel, their policies, and adequacy and fairness of the wages and other conditions of employment prevailing in it, is the rate at which replacements must be made in order to maintain the workforce.
Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes you have to read it twice and slow down.
It'd be obvious.
Mm-hmm. need some elevator music now while you're.
I don't like D at all. Organization policy should be based on both social. I don't like B at all. I don't like B, boy or dog. Turnover is 1. It's either A or C, and I'm having difficult choosing one.
It's test time. You're in that testing center by yourself. You have to pick one. Which one are you going to go with?
I'm going to guess C.
All
right.
A was it. Maximum effectiveness in personnel management has been achieved when there is no employee turnover. All right. Let's see if we can. There's nothing in the passage that supports answer choice A, B, or D. Choice C is supported by this section. Only one measure is the rate at which replacements must be made in order to maintain the workforce. Only one measure, blah, 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 is the rate at which replacements must be made in order to maintain the workforce. So, you know, when HR is, human resources department is hiring, firing, there has to be some type of disconnect somewhere. And they want to maintain a balance because it takes a lot of time to train a worker, get them acclimated to the way you guys do things. This is break time. This is lunch time. You know, you're not going to spend 2-3 hours in the bathroom every day. You know, that type of thing. So there's policies, procedures that each employee. So if you fire this guy and you're hiring another person, and you got to go all the way over. But when you have guys who've been on the job 5, 10, 15 years, they know how things go. They know when the crazy times go for business and stuff like that. So maximum effectiveness for the HR or personnel department when there's no employee turnover. All right. Let's get on into the next one. Education should not stop when the individual has been prepared to make a livelihood and to live in a modern society. Living would be mere existence where there's no appreciation and enjoyment of the riches of art, literature, and science. This passage best supports the statement that true education.
And can you send that one?
Oh, look at me. See?
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, I know. You speak so eloquently. Okay, again, education should not stop when the individual has been prepared to make a livelihood and to live in a modern society. Living would be mere existence were there no appreciation and enjoyment of the riches of art, literature, and science. The passage best supports the statement that true education
deals chiefly with art, literature, and science, disregards practical goals, should continue throughout the duration of one's life, teaches a person to focus on the routine problems of life. C.
You nailed it.
Man, that was a lot easier than these past two. Sheesh.
Okay, I'm not going to forget this to make sure you can see this one. Sorry about that before. Okay, just as the procedure of a collection department must be clear-cut and definite, the steps being taken. What happened?
Sorry, that was me. You're good.
Okay. Just the procedure of a collection department must be clear-cut and definite. The steps being taken with the sureness of a skilled chess player. So the various paragraphs of a collection letter must show clear organization, giving evidence of mind that, from the beginning, has had a specific end in view. The passage most nearly that a collection letter should always
A, be carefully planned. B, courteous but brief. Be divided into several long paragraphs to show a spirit of sportsmanship. A, be carefully planned.
Yes, sir. Let me know when you see it.
All right.
Although manufacturers exercise thorough advertising, a high degree of control over consumers' desires, the manufacturer assumes enormous risks in attempting to predict what customers will want and in producing goods in quantity and distributing them in advance of final selection by the consumers. The quotation best supports the statement that manufacturers
A, can predict with great accuracy the success of any product put on the market. B, must depend upon the final selection by consumers for the success of their undertakings. C, must distribute goods directly to consumers. D, must eliminate the risk of overproduction by advertising. B, must depend upon the final selection by consumers for their success of their undertakings.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Good. Made me nervous.
I know. I didn't mean to. Okay, and last but not least, in almost every community, fortunately, there are certain people known to be public spirited. Others, however, may be selfish and act only as their private interests seem to require. This quotation means most nearly that those citizens who disregard others are
A, community minded. B, fortunate. C, not public spirited. Or D, unknown. In almost every community, fortunately, there are some. That's how I read this. I'd say D, unknown.
According to this quotation, citizens who are selfish and act only as their private interests seem to require are not public spirited.
Oh, okay.
Those who disregard others are concerned principally with their own selfish interests. So what would you say now?
C, not public spirited.
That is correct.
I was just kind of, this quotation means most nearly that the citizens who disregard others. I just didn't see the paragraph saying that they disregarded others. They may be using
if you're being selfish, right?
There's a lot of people that use others for their own selfish and private interests.
Yeah, I know.
They're not disregarding others. They got the others clearly in mind, and they know exactly where. Yeah, not public. I mean, yeah, that's the opposite of, it's not public spirited, I guess. That was kind of gray. I don't know.
Man, that was a great session for reading comprehension.
Yes, it was. It was good.
Okay, so good job. you have these on your timeline, and you can keep just kind of reading through them and stuff, and you can Google stuff. You can Google tons of things and examples, to help you continue with this. But you gotta stick with,
right.
and this is my method. You gotta stick with what the text is how it's flowing, and make no assumptions. You can't make any assumptions if it doesn't directly state something. You can't go with it. You just got to throw it away. And I like the way you were doing that. You had your process of elimination going. Like at first it was like a little weak, but then when we got in the middle, you were like full crank. Throw this out, throw this out, throw this out. And you were pinpointing ways of why you're throwing it out. So you're thinking, I could see that. So
right.
I tend to think that reading comprehension is probably not going to be your weakness anymore.
Good. Awesome.
You got to keep it up. You got to stay warm.
I got my homework.
Okay, great. All right. I have somebody right behind you that I need to jump to.
All right. We'll be out of town next week on our meeting time. So you want to schedule for the week after?
It's up to you.
Let's do that. And
all right. On the timeline, just put a date and a date of the month, day and time. Instead of normally we'll be doing a day and a time, do a date, day and time. And then we'll just take it from there.
You got it.
All right, buddy?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
All right. You take care, buddy.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that it was reading comprehension. And my tips for reading comprehension is that you don't make any assumptions. If the paragraph states that, there's a white dry erase board behind Keno. The dry erase board is mounted on the wall. Okay, the statement says that. So you got to kind of try to picture things as you read through them as far as what's going on. And then at the end of the paragraph, it says some other stuff. And then in your answers, it says, well, this paragraph, supports the statement that Keno likes ice cream. We never said anything about ice cream. So you don't make any assumptions, no matter if you said someone was growing up in the ice cream capital of the world. I don't even know where the ice cream capital of the world would be, but you only choose the answer selections that you actually, see. So it's like line by line and diagramming it mentally. If you can't touch what that answer is in the paragraph, then don't touch it. Just leave it alone, throw it away. Just say, hey, no, the paragraph never said that. So I thank you guys, whoever checked in, and we'll see you next time. I'm Keno with STEMwithKeno.com. Have a great evening.